All right, we've made some progress here. Just give Scott another minute or two to get the link on the website, and then we'll go live here.
Okay. It shows on this end like we're live on YouTube, Eric. Just
all right, thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Eric, you're live on YouTube. All right. Well, apologize to everybody both here and watching online. We just had a few technical difficulties this morning, so we're starting the meeting a little bit, about 10 minutes late here this morning. So Steve, go ahead.
You ready there? Okay. Okay. Call this meeting to order at 7:39. If we could do roll call, please.
Mrs. Clink here. Mr. Kyle Miller.
Here.
Mr. Mullet.
Here.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Here. Okay, reminder that we are operating under a consent agenda. The camera only looks one way, so are there any guests to acknowledge, Eric?
No, there aren't this morning, Steve.
Okay. Then we will move to approval of minutes from the July 21st and the July 31st meeting, which was Appendix A. Okay, we have a first and a second. I believe the sound isn't great, but I believe I heard that. Go ahead with roll call.
Mr. Dirks.
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Clink. Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes. Okay, number 4, approval for today's agenda. And Eric, I think you probably have a little comment.
Yeah.
About that.
We do have 2 items to add as an addendum this morning, both personnel items, so they'll fall under Roman numeral 8 there. One, under resignations, we'll be adding a letter B, and that would be Glenda Stevens, kindergarten teacher at Chestnut Ridge, who's decided to retire. So we'll add her on letter B there. And then a number 3, a tutor to replace Rock Harmon there, resignation at Chestnut Ridge in Napa.
Okay, any discussion or questions about today's agenda, including the additions that Mr. Bevan just went over there? If not, could we have a motion to approve today's agenda? Julia?
I'll second.
Herman? Roll call?
Mrs. Clink. Yes. Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mr. Dirks.
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Bevan, superintendent's report.
All right. I think we'll start with some building and supervisor reports here. I'll just kind of call you out, guys, as I see on the screen there. So, Mr. Travis, you are up first.
All right, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to start by saying thank you to Troy, Louie, Albert, Marvin, and Irma, all of our custodians, for their hard work over the summer getting buildings ready. Floors look great. and especially Louis, Troy, and the rest of the district custodians for doing some special projects here in the last couple of weeks. I know that added a lot to their plate, but they got it done in a timely manner, adding air conditioners, and that was really appreciated. So I guess as teachers are coming back, they're surprised and appreciative, and I think students will also enjoy that when they get back to school. I also want to acknowledge staff. They're starting to come in, get classrooms ready. Lots of questions about, room setup and making some changes there. So appreciate their efforts in getting those things ready. And the restrooms projects at Flat Ridge and Wise are complete. They look great, and we're appreciative of that as well. So thank you for helping move that along and getting those completed for us here for the start of school. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mr. Travis. Mr. Haven, you're up next.
Good morning, everyone. You may hear some of the repeated themes from myself as what Mr. Travis said. As in tradition, I have 3 things to share from both my buildings, and I'll start with the letter R. Number 1 is relationships. Our buildings are beautiful, but they're brick and mortar. Relationships are the foundation. So we're really looking forward. Our teachers are already coming into the building, but we'll definitely be all here next Monday. And then the 20th, our kids come. So those are the lifebloods of our building. Number 2, R is radiant. Our bathrooms at Weinsberg are beautiful. Looks like something you'd see on the Home and Garden TV or listed or love it. They're, immaculate. So if you get a chance, stop by and see those. And number 3, last R is reliable. That is a reflection of our maintenance and custodial staff, putting as many air conditioning units in as they did in a short amount of time. They're always there. They're always do it with a great spirit, and they're much appreciated.
All right, thanks, Mr. Haven. Mr. Luneborg.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see everybody awake at 7:30. A couple of things to say for both buildings, and I'm going to read what they said, and I'm sure you're going to hear it from the other principals as well, but our custodial staff has done a great job. Zach, Rachel, and Brandon, we have painted all the hallways, or the main hallways at Chestnut Ridge and Mount Hope, and it kind of gives it a nice, bright, inviting feel to those buildings, and they needed to be done. The buildings themselves are ready to go, other than some signage that we need to hang up throughout the building the next week or so when we get those. Just a shout out to Louis on top of our custodians. He has really done an excellent job of getting things done quickly throughout the district. And as he's coming to my buildings, there are occasional things I'll say, hey, Louis, can you get this done for me? And it's like, no problem, gets it done. I know I needed a wire run from the copier room to our lobby to be able to move the copier out in the lobby for this year, as the copier room at Chestnut Ridge will be considered the room for our sick students. And we wanted to get that moved out, and no hesitation, had it done within a day. So I appreciate all the efforts there. The teachers are coming into the buildings, and what I appreciate there is what Daryl said, the relationships coming in, speaking with me, asking questions, what are the protocols, and getting their classroom set up in a direction that we're asking them to do this year, which is not usually their normal way of setting up their classrooms, but to social distance the best we can in our classrooms. We are asking for them to set them up a certain way, and they've been doing that. And then finally, we did have I sent out the restart guides for both buildings working off of the district guide. Each building has kind of their own individual things that go on in the buildings and how to move students about. And I just wanted to give an appreciative thank you, because I had those finished, and then I worked with 2 teachers at each building to really work through those, and actually had about a 2-hour meeting with those teachers on their own time to just kind of discuss those restart guides, give me some ideas, things that I might have missed, to make sure we have those as planned as much as possible. So Chestnut Ridge, Michael Schaff and Bridget Mast sat in with me for a couple hours, and at Mount Hope, Leora Troyer and Jody Farrell took the time out to work on those. So that was kind of nice. And then just one quick thing here, kind of a sign of school starting this morning. I saw that the grocery truck was pulling into Chestnut Ridge cafeteria and starting to unload some things. So good sign to see. Kids are coming next week. So
Good. Mr. Blocklinger.
Good morning, everyone. Great to see you. Just some thanks to Jim and Jason. I'd like to thank them and Louis for the great work they've done this summer and and to Diane since she's been back. We've had a lot of students enroll, a few that have withdrawn, but she's been working really hard to answer the phones and do the great things that she does to make people feel comfortable. So I want to thank all of them. Teachers are coming back. I'm thankful for the creative ways that they are trying to set up their rooms in a safe manner, so students they can relieve some of their anxiety, feel comfortable, safe, and loved in this environment that we're in. So I'm thankful for them. Also, we are starting today, myself and a few, to set up a virtual meet the teacher since we can't do open house. So we'll be working on that, and hopefully that works and we can get that out right away so all of our students that have access can meet the teacher virtually. Our kindergarten orientation, we moved that since we wanted to limit that to the 17th, 18th, and 19th, and parents are setting up times to come in because that's the first their kindergarten has been here, to safely come in and walk around the building, meet the teacher, and just to have some time in here to feel comfortable. And then finally, the first day of school, I've got some parents coming outside stuff to put up signs and sidewalk chalk to welcome them back after a long layoff. So we're looking forward to that. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mr. Blacklinger. And Mr. Sprang is here and Mr. Pringle's there. So go ahead.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk just a little bit about restarting, things like that. And Mr. Pringle will just share some updates on the building and some positive things that are happening. Parents and students, you can expect to hear from myself and Mr. Pringle here later this week about some changes in procedures, changes with bell schedule, changes with how we'll kind of maneuver through lunchtime and other times. You can expect to hear from us later this week with some specific plans. The idea is to release some videos that kind of explain the changes to allow people to kind of digest it, ask questions, and then hopefully we're as prepared as we can be for the first day of school. We have 7th grade tours with Mr. Boyd starting tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. And during that time, students will get their schedule. They'll get the opportunity to walk through the building and ask questions. 8th grade students can pick up their schedules at Highland at any time they would like. And then we'll also provide copies of the schedules to high school students on the first day of school. Last year, we did scheduling virtually. And we encourage them, students, write this down on a piece of paper, know where that piece of paper is. Everybody in their mind right now is thinking, does my kid have their piece of paper? Well, I hope they do, but if they don't worry about it. Just come to the first day of school, go to your first period class, and we'll have it there. So we're getting as prepared as we can be. We're trying to get the best plan possible, and we are super excited about having kids. It's been great to have staff around. Last night we had the parent athletic meeting. It was just great having everybody together, and just appreciates everyone's support as we do what we need to do to get kids back in school. So thanks. It's great seeing you all. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Pringle now. He'll share a little bit more.
Morning, everybody. Yes, I'm going to continue to talk about some positives and projects here at Highland. The turf soccer field, it looks great. If you haven't got a chance to come by and look at it, I would highly encourage you to do that. It just looks awesome out there. Thank you to everybody who worked on that project, the community, and support for that. As I see down there, the girls soccer team is currently practicing on it. And I know last night when I came out for the preseason parent meeting, elementary students were out there working on it as well. So that's a great project. That looks good down there. Restroom remodeling project, as Daryl said, the restrooms are looking great. They're almost complete here at Highland. Saw them walking in this morning. So hopefully that gets completed here today or tomorrow. We do have new equipment in the Woods Lab for the, Mr. Garber's class. Again, great to have that equipment in there for our students. And again, I also want to, give a big thank you to Wes, Bill, Bo, and Wayne for the great job that they do in getting the building ready for the first day of school. They do a great job, make the building look great. And yeah, we're excited. We get to see student athletes right now. We're ready to see the rest of our students next week.
Thanks, guys. And Ms. Calvin?
Right, so for special education and student services, we are just continuing on with Tri-County Computer Services. Last May, they helped update our progress book, special services that we use to do IEP writing and documentation. They've been providing trainings this week, and they'll keep providing some trainings that we move into our new year. Ohio Department of Education finally came out recently with some guidelines for special education. I think this will be helpful. Change very much of what IDEA already has in place, but it does indicate that telehealth is a possibility should we have to go remote again for our service providers who previously could not provide those services via telehealth without that order in place. That is in place for the entirety of the school year. And just really looking forward to having students come back, get them back into the classroom, provide the services one-on-one as possible. Just looking forward to seeing people.
Well, thanks, everybody. And, just to wrap all that up, school is starting on August 20th. And, this year obviously is very unique in terms of a start of a school year. We've been communicating with the community, both about our restart guide and all those plans. And then following the governor's mask mandate for school as well, and trying to communicate the best we can with the community. So, we continue to work and process through that. And in regards to masks, and certainly here at central office and in the buildings as well, I've heard from a lot of community members in terms of feedback about masks and how that affects kids and the restart of school. So we'll continue to communicate to parents here in the coming days as we work through that mandate from the governor's office and how it affects our schools. So we look forward to working together with everyone through that. So that's it, Steve, for the superintendent's report.
Okay. Before we move on, I think I speak for the entire board when I say just obviously a different ending to last year and different the entire summer and a very different start. So we greatly appreciate all the hard work that is going into getting school started and the flexibility. And we all know that there will be challenges in front of us, but I think we all feel very strongly that we're doing the right thing to get kids back in school while keeping kids and staff as safe as we can. So I guess just a big thank you for all the efforts and the flexibility. And I'm proud of where the team has taken, leadership team has gone. So Ms. Humphrey, Treasurer's Report.
A whole lot in terms of individual items, just our July approval for our July reports. I know those reports look a little bit differently, so if you have questions about that, or you want to see something different, just continue to let me know what you want to see. The reconciliation process for us in balancing took a little longer than we're used to. It's kind of expected with a new system, but Ruby and Krista did a great job in helping me and just working together to figure out what we needed to do. The biggest change for us is our payroll is now a part of our budgetary side, so we're reconciling those together when those have always been separate. So when you throw payroll into the mix, it gets a little dicey with all those different payments that we have from deductions. Like I said, they did a great job of figuring out those little nuances, and we were able to balance. So we are happy to be on the new system, continue to just iron out some little details and working with the staff that is also in the system. They've been very gracious with us as we've adjusted to those differences. So I do want to thank them for all of that. And we are excited. The capabilities are there to take us to the next level, I think, from a performance standpoint. So I'm grateful that we're able to make that change. So.
Steve, I think that's it for the treasurer's report there.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Okay, thank you, Amanda. And need a motion to number one, there's Roman numeral 6, number 1, to payment of the bills and the July 2020 financial and reconciliation report to be accepted by the treasurer. It's Appendix B.
So
Okay, first and a second. Any comments or discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Carl Miller,
yes.
Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mrs. Klink. Yes. Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes. Okay, we'll go to new business.
All right, for the new business there, we have 4 items there. Those are all annual items that we do. Number 1 and 2 are agreements with, number 1 is with Garaway. We transport their students to Beacon Hill from Garaway, and they help us out with transporting students down to Buckeye. And then number 2 is for an aid out at the training center that we do on an annual basis. And then 3 and 4 are a little later than we typically would do them in terms of our handbooks for this year. But those are our building, parent, student, teacher handbooks, and also athletic, band, jazz band, and choir handbooks.
Okay. So items 1 through 4 on new business. Entertain a motion to approve all 4 of them.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. Any questions or discussion? If not, let's do roll call.
Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mrs. Klink. Yes. Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes. Okay, Roman number 8, personnel items.
All right, for personnel, and now it'll be 1 through 3 with the added item there. So number 1 are 2 resignations, Rock Harmon, tutor, and then letter B would be Glenda Stevens, and just want to publicly thank Glenda for her many years of service here at East Holmes in our elementary buildings. She will be missed. Number 2 is 1 supplemental there, and then 3, Joanna Yoder as tutor to replace Rock Harmon. I think you're on mute again, Steve.
Sorry. Any questions for Eric with the additions there before we vote? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve 1 through 3.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, go ahead with roll call.
Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Klink. Yes. Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes.
Superintendent recommends that the Board of Education go into executive session for any of the following matters to consider: appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Klink.
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry.